In homes across America this morning, people are evaluating the quality and quantity of their gifts, but there is, of course, a much larger meaning to this day, which is why we have convened this panel of spiritual leaders. Let me start with Ambassador Dr. Susan Johnson Cook, who's the U.S. Ambassador at Large for Religious Freedom, and Reverend Dr. Serene Jones from Union Theological Seminary, the president. And you recognize this guy, Father Edward Beck, who is an ABC News consultant, host of the Sunday Mass on the ABC channel, on the ABC Family channel, I should say, and the author of Soul Provider, Spiritual Steps to Limitless Love. There's the book right there. Thank you all for coming in, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Great to have you here.
Merry Christmas.
So let's start with the reason for the season. We get very focused on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, etc., etc. I know you don't buy gifts and give gifts at this time of year. Why is that, and what do you say to your parishioners about how to stay focused on what this is supposed to be all about?
You know, sometimes if I want to be very esoteric, I begin with them by quoting G.K. Chesterton. He has a great quote where he says, "A religion that defies the world needs a feast that defies winter." And, you know, Christmas is that feast. We say in the darkest time of the year, light comes into the world. And, you know, so we're waiting for this Messiah, and who comes? A homeless refugee? I mean, this is the kind of God we're talking about. Now, who cannot relate to that kind of God? We say, oh, God is so distant. God doesn't see me. God's not part of my life. A homeless refugee comes and says, I'm going to bring you peace. I'm going to bring you meaning. I mean, that to me is a wonderful story of helping people to connect with their own lives and their own experience.
But on this Christmas morning, is it okay to be spending some time enjoying some of the material goods beneath the tree, or is that a distraction?
I think it's great to enjoy them, but that can't be the whole season. If we can get to why we give gifts, out of the blessings we receive, the bounty from a God who chose to send his Son among us, and now we want to share the giftedness of our God, the bounty, and so we extend it to other people. That's great, but it's not about the commercialism.
Gifts were also brought to the Christ child. Gifts were brought, so it is
frankincense and
myrrh, and it's appropriate for its family gathering time. It's time to reflect that giving is not just for this one season, but it's year-round. So there are gifts beyond what's under the tree. You can also have the gift of service, which is what we do every day. That, you know, Jesus came to bring peace to the world, joy to the world, and there are many that don't have that. So for me, you know, religious freedom and diversity is important, and so we bring the gift of service, not just Christmas time, but around the world, because many can't celebrate this season.
So let me ask you a quick question. This time of year, we asked this question last year when you were all here. This time of year, people are suffering deeply, especially with the economy, and it's been going on for years now. What do you say to people who cannot feel cheerful on this day?
Well, the most important thing you have to do is acknowledge that, and not have this illusion that for everyone this is a joyful holiday. And once you acknowledge that and you go back and think about the Christmas story, which you were talking about, a manger, a homeless mother, a child. I mean, this is not a story of someone celebrating the bounty of the universe. This is a story of suffering people to whom a miracle comes. And in this time of recession, our mangers are everywhere in this country.
And in some ways, it's a hopeful story.
It's a hopeful story that light came in the midst of a dark place, and so we must never lose sight that there is light, and that we must bring that wherever we go. For us, there are many, as she says, who are suffering. There are refugees around the world. We're hoping that this Christmas, that we continue to pray for, advocate for, urge that everyone will be able to celebrate whatever they believe. For the Christians, certainly we celebrate Jesus Christ, but we want everyone to have the right to believe what they want.
But how about that manger? I mean, what is a manger? It's a feeding trough. You have the Son of God placed in a feeding trough. This child is going to be food for the world, food for your hungry heart. I mean, that's the Christmas message. I mean, we've been fed now by God.
Also, that manger is a barn. I mean, this is not the main house. This is not the fancy hotel. This is not even the nice apartment. This is outside in the back where no one else would live, where this is happening, way on the margin.
Good to keep that in mind as we open our iPads on this,
so.
Christmas morning. I want to thank you all. I wish we had more time.
Thank you
We
so
don't,
much.
though. It's such a pleasure to have you here on this Christmas morning. And let me just remind everybody who's been speaking with us this morning. It's Father Edward Beck, Dr. Serene Jones, and Dr. Susan Johnson Cook. Thank you all once again.
Thank you.